Hello everybody, welcome to this episode where we are talking about, are you over giving? Now this is a topic that I think a lot of people can resonate with. I believe that there is a level of exchange in the universe, which is a flow of giving and receiving and all those kind of things. But sometimes we do feel like we are always giving, and we actually feel depleted. We can actually feel resentful. We can actually feel like just annoyed that, you know, it's just, why am I always the one that's giving? This is one that's present in a lot of like family situations or relationship situations, maybe even like maybe even partners, business, whatever. It's kind of like in a lot of situations, to be fair, but it highlights more probably in family or relationships or whatever. So what does overgiving mean? It means that you just feel that you are putting in 100% effort. You're always giving, you're always showing someone. Maybe you're the one that's always doing acts of service things like cooking and cleaning to like make someone happy, and you're just feeling like resentful because you're not being appreciated. Maybe you're the one that's the breadwinner in the family and you're giving so much, but it feels like you're not appreciated. Maybe you're the person that's giving so much emotional support to someone. There really is something called carer's fatigue if you're a carer, which is a different topic. But if you know, even as a mother or a wife, or just as just as a woman, a single woman, like there is something as like overgiving, right? Now, the number one significator if you are overgiving is that you do feel resentful and you do feel depleted. And this can show up in loads of different ways. You can just have a quiet, you know, resentfulness inside you that you don't speak about, but you carry on giving. Or you can manifest in a way you're always saying to people like, I'm the one that's doing everything. I'm the one that's, you know, doing all this stuff, but you know, no one's giving anything back, but still you feel unheard and you feel unappreciated and you still carry on giving, right? And resentment is really the thing that you will feel if you feel like you're just not getting anything back. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about. Maybe you are around people that are takers, you're a giver and they're not giving anything back. Maybe that's a situation that you need to look at. A lot of people, when they are givers, they tend to attract people who just take, people who just have no accountability, or like they don't even realize what they're doing because that's their pattern. Their pattern is always going for people who are givers and just taking, and your pattern is always giving and people taking. And I've definitely been in that dynamic because I naturally feel that I like to give a lot and I overgive, especially emotionally, and people tend to take, and then it's like this resentment. And I'm speaking from experience, okay? But I've sorted it out now. Like, I don't feel like that anymore. So I'm going to tell you how you can do that and the indications of what's pinging for you. Something is that if you are giving to receive something back, that's not you genuinely giving. That's an exchange that you need to be really transparent about, okay? Because if you're having quiet transactional relationships, again, I'm just going to call it out how it is. It might hit home, but this is all about waking people up, leveling them up, ascending their minds, getting them out of their patterns so they can have the lives that they want, right? If you are giving something to someone because you want something back, but you haven't been transparent about that, you haven't been honest about that, then you're kidding yourself, right? Because that person might not even have a clue that this is going on for you. For real, like if you are I can't even think of a scenario like right now. If you are just over giving, if say you're a housewife and you're doing the cooking and the cleaning and all of that, and you want extra attention and you're just not getting it, and you haven't been honest, you haven't even said anything, you're just quietly resentful, you're kidding yourself, because that person, maybe your husband, doesn't even know what you want. And it's true, we have these like made up scenarios in our heads And this is so important to get. We have these things in our minds that people in our lives are mind readers, and everybody operates in the exact same way that we operate. We just assume that they've had the exact same upbringing, that they have the exact same mindset, that they have the exact same way of thinking, way of, you know, transaction that we do, which is further from the truth. You need to actually spell it out for some people. If you are in a transactional relationship, you haven't been transparent, and you're just hoping that the other person just picks up on what it is that you want, you're kidding yourself. It's not gonna happen unless you have an honest conversation, unless you say, you know, this is what I expect from the relationship, from the friendship, from the marriage, from the business. You don't have to say it like that if you don't want to, but you need to have an honest conversation and let the other person know, because otherwise there's a bunch of resentment, a bunch of unfulfilled expectations, and assumptions, and expecting somebody to mind read what it is that we want out of life. And also, transactional relationships should really be in business. Do not bring, we really have this like epidemic of like bringing transactional relationships to actual emotional relationships and families. And it's not. I don't believe there's a natural transaction of life, like mother and child, right? That's a natural transaction. The mother looks after the child is growing and all of that kind of stuff and gives the mother joy, but that's a natural transaction. It's not something that we go out and say, I'm gonna have a child so I can, you know, get this and this and do you know what I'm saying? Like when some people get into relationships, like I want to have a relationship so I can get this and this, but you're not honest about that kind of thing, and you just expect that one day miraculously that person is going to be a psychic and you're going to get those things. I've got to say it to you. You need to be honest about what you want, right? You need to be honest about that. And you need to be honest with yourself about, this happens when you think, it does come back down to self-love and like self-worth, because sometimes we can't say what we want because we think we don't deserve that. And we just assume and expect the other person to just give us what we want. But I really want you to get today that that's not going to happen until you find the strength to not demand, but be deserving of what you want and communicate it. Okay? Because that's the only way the other person's going to know what you want. And that's the only way that you will know if that person can give you what you want, if that person wants to give you what you want, if that person is capable of giving you what you want, and then you're going to be clear on your relationship. A lot of these issues with root patterns and patterns of behavior that we keep repeating is that there's no clarity, there's no transparency. It's just this vague assumption-based scenario that we one day hope will sort out, and unless there's some form of communication, it won't get sorted out. And I'm going to be really honest with you. And really and truly, we need to like give what is easy to us. We need to give what we naturally give. And we need to know, we need to have boundaries with ourselves. We always think that it's the other person's job to stop taking when we can't give anymore. It doesn't work like that. We need to figure out how much of what we can give when. Not the other person's job to tell you when you're getting depleted. It's your job to be self-aware, to say, this is too much for me right now. There's certain settings I can give in, there's certain settings I can't give in. You need to be it's clarity that you're looking for, and it's boundaries and communication and honest expectations that both people know about. If you naturally can give finance and it's not gonna be too much of a stress on you, give that. Some people have an abundance of finance, it's nothing for them to give that. Some people don't have an abundance of finance right now and it's a stretch for them to give that. Two different energies. One person is not going to feel resentful, the other person is going to feel stretched. If you can easily give emotional support, give that. Some people can't. Some people have got schedules, they're not that kind of people, and they can't give that. So they feel irritated. It's like that resentment, it's like overgiving, right? Some people can give contacts because they have an abundance of that. Some people don't. They might have one contact. I'm not laughing like at the person. I'm just saying that I've seen these scenarios, right? Even in business, that person's got this one contact that they're going to utilize one day, and they don't want to give it up. And you're going after that person and expecting that, right? It's not going to work. You naturally can give what you are abundant in. If you are an abundant in motherly energy, you can give it easily. If you are abundant in advice, you can give it easily. It's not going to deplete you. Obviously, it's going to take some energy, but it's not going to deplete you. If you can give in finance abundantly and you have an abundance in that, it's going to be easier for you than if someone doesn't. You need to figure out what you can give, okay? Give what's easy to you. Give what comes naturally to you. Give what is naturally, because we all are abundant in something. It's not that we have scarcity in every area of our life. Again, it comes back to tuning into what you're excellent at, to identifying your excellence and giving in that route. And the best thing to do is if you just make a career out of it. That's what I did. You know, I have an abundance of I have an abundance of emotional support. I have an abundance of advice of like, you know, how to get through things, because I've had to really work it out in my life. And I was giving it to everybody because I naturally give that, and that's who I am. And then it started to feel a bit like, ooh, little pinch. So I made a career out of it. And it's the best thing ever, because the other person benefits from my expertise. I benefit from my expertise. I give freely. When I am doing that, when I'm in that setting working with my clients, there is no scarcity. I give so freely, and that's what makes me do what I do. Okay, it's the same single thing for every single person and what you're abundant at. If you actually create a career out of what you're abundant in, you are going to be you're going to be next level, because that's something you naturally give so freely to people. It's something you naturally enjoy giving. It's your excellence. Okay, same in relationships. Figure out what you can give easily. If it's emotional support, give it, but also be aware of your own boundaries. If it's getting to that point where it feels like a pinch, up to you to sort it out. It's really up to you if you're overgiving or not, and it's really up to you to have the awareness. It's not your fault, because maybe before this video you didn't actually realize like all these concepts, because it's like it's being arranged for you now to really think, what am I excellent at? How much can I give? You know, how do I know when I'm overgiving? And these things have been answered for you to really be aware now. That the next time you're in a situation, you know the signs that you're overgiving. Next time you're in a situation, you know what you should give and how much of it you should give. And you also know it's your responsibility. And you have to figure out, are you a giver or are you a taker? Because chances are, if you've been attracted to this video, you're a giver. Okay, so you need to sort that out, because you don't want to get depleted and burn out. If you want to know more about that, watch my video about exhaustion and how not to burn out. Listen to my podcast about how to have more energy. Overgiving is a thing. Definitely a thing in people who are carers, which is a whole different other topic, because that's the situation you've been put in where you have to give, you want to give, and sometimes there's a thing called carers fatigue. But this is for people who are overgiving on an everyday basis and feeling resentful. So I really, really hope this has helped you. I hope that you get to a healthy level of exchange with the universe. And please remember that the more you do give, what you naturally can give, the universe will always reward you for that. And because generosity comes in so many different ways, it's not just financial, it's emotional, it's advice, it's love. Like, just be generous with what you can be generous with, and the universe will reward you for that. Thank you for listening, and so much love. Remember to subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notified of when I post a video, and also like and share this video with anyone it can help. If you know someone out there that's overgiving or overtaking, I don't mean on the road. Lame joke, but it happens, guys. So share it with them, and lots of love. Love you.